Yeah, there they are. Yeah. I'm gonna say their names, but if I say it now, they have to walk. It's like a trek from the back of the room. It's a big room, so. We have Majandra, Brendan, Jason, Emilie.
That's the difference between these two and us two. Right.
Oh, sorry.
Shut down.
Yeah. Hello. Hey.
What a person. Just not the chair next to me. Literally.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I go to where the mic is.
Ouch.
And then that's
Oh,
yeah,
all
you have to
It's okay.
Who's leaving room for the Holy Ghost?
Hi. Oh, it works. Okay, great. Hi guys, how's it going? Does it make you uncomfortable if I stand?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna
As long as you
stand.
lean all cute like that.
Okay, this for you. How's it going?
Good, how you doing?
Yeah. Oh, fantastic.
How are you guys doing?
Yeah. So obviously everybody here is a big fan of Roswell, which you were all on. So I'm going to keep my questions pretty general because I'm sure everybody in here knows more about Roswell than all of us on the stage, even the people who are in the show. So when I do this, I try to ask things that I think you guys want to hear, that like totally off the wall things. One of my favorite things to ask is, would you rather play a hero or a villain? I guess we'll start with Brendan. I don't know if that's a good idea.
Away we go. No one gets to answer anything else. I would say the older I get, villain gets more interesting. Like as a kid, I wanted the good guys to win, right? It's Hulk Hogan in wrestling. And you know, it's always, you know, Transformers, it's the Autobots, not the Decepticons. It's G.I. Joe, not Cobra. And the older I get, villains become much more interesting. And I look back at like how cool the villains were, and so Michael.
Oh boy.
It's a Roswell. So Michael was the villain of the alien, like he was the outsider, right? So he's not a villain,
Okay.
but he, in a sense, he was like the bad guy of the group. I'm not gonna say bad boy. I'm not gonna label myself that. And so, fine, I'll cut it short.
Alexa,
Villain.
how much longer on
All
the
right,
timer?
okay, go ahead, Majandra. We're passing it up to Majandra.
I would say I would like to be a hero. I'm a little bit more schmaltzy, so hero for me. That's how you do it.
Yeah, hero generally, although sometimes villains are fun. I don't know. If it's like someone who has no redeemable qualities, I find that quite enjoyable.
Like still, after 25 years, still.
Great answer though, Brenda. That was really, really elegant.
I'm gonna talk that. This is my brother from another mother. So I would say both actually, because you know, I've been able to play both sort of a hero-ish person and also a villain. Actually, both on Roswell. So I think that's why Max the Max was a lot of fun for me, because you know, you got a chance to know Max for a few episodes and then like, you know, see his visage, but then also, you know, he's acting a little bit more like a bad boy. Yeah.
Like Brendan.
Oh, he gets to speak.
He kept it brief though.
Yeah, he.
That much more.
Great. Brendan, do you have any special skills that we don't know about? This question is for everyone, but.
He's really good at answering questions.
It's like, I really don't think so, actually.
You're probably right.
Not what I was expecting.
Yeah, no.
Special, I mean,
Special
I can
skills.
juggle Kleenex.
What is something that most people don't know
it's
about
soft,
you?
right?
So
It's
it's
all
yeah.
super soft.
So it's like, yeah.
It could be something, it doesn't have to be something, okay, yeah, just use your imagination.
Do you cook?
I don't think that's a special skill.
No, but we know.
I don't know. I don't have any like kind of extraordinary or unique or like kind of off the wall skill. Like I don't have a card trick or a party. Like I don't. No, I don't.
Okay,
Can't write a
no is an
unicycle.
acceptable
I'm out.
answer. That's fine.
Oh, I'm next. I don't have a special skill, but I'm really, really bad at like putting caps back onto things. Like it's like shocking, where it's like, how can you not find the thread? So I guess like that's the skill, to just not be able to do the most human basic thing.
You know how you do that?
No, I don't. Listen, I've
No,
had
no,
it
no, no.
explained to me.
Wait, I'm not gonna. My dad, we just worked on a project together, and he decided to teach me how to put caps on things after 47 years of my life. And I was
So
like,
that might be your problem too.
no, you spin it once like backwards, and then it clicks in. You find it until it clicks in, and then you can go forward with it.
I would love for you to explain that to you, to like get behind me while I'm holding a bottle and just
I'm just saying,
very.
you go left before you go right to tighten it, and it'll
Believe me,
always,
it's
and
not
it'll
gonna
catch the grooves.
I regret asking this question. Sorry, guys.
Emily?
Yeah. Well, what kind of things are you trying to screw shit on?
Just like a cap like that.
A water bottle. So I was about to say, oh, me too, but no. I can put them on very well, but I don't, and it's even more annoying because I just forget to. So half the time, like, I'll do this, right, which is even more annoying because someone thinks it's on, and then they'll pick it up. I'm like, what the?
I mean,
But that's
just so
you
careless.
Just hold it, and then you put it on the top,
Yeah.
and then you turn it. I know, but and you just keep turning it, and then it's on.
Yeah, no, it's a neurologic. There's
So we
something
can work
wrong.
together.
Yeah, it's all right. I would rather you teach me than you or your dad. Okay.
It shouldn't take that many.
No, but you know some
43
threads some are just threaded weird. Like whether it's a
Smell
nut
like
and a bolt,
childproof.
like
Like
even,
this, like
but even like a nut and a bolt,
No, it's a
or
disorder.
like a cap, or something big or a jar.
A jar.
Sometimes like the threads, it's off. And you're like, is that center? And you're looking down at like, why isn't it closed? Like even a lipstick lip balm. You know how those are a little
even
funny
get me
sometimes.
started.
Anyone?
No.
I got the worst stand-up routine. There is.
Who's on first? First. You guys come here often? I can pat my head and rub my belly at the same time.
That's great, Jason. Thank you for answering the question. How has your creative process changed from when you were on Roswell to projects you've done more recently?
I'm not going to start with this one.
Okay, we'll start with Jason.
Honestly, I think that when we were all doing Roswell, we were pretty young, and our life experience was, I think, pretty full to that point, but not. We're all parents here now, and so I think that life experience has changed my point of view and my perspective and how I approach everything, in my daily life, but also definitely in my art and creating any kind of character. I think, hopefully my work is much more rich as a result of having children.
I agree with that. I think your psyche, everything is just flipped. And it's hard to explain too. It's not sort of one thing that's changed. I think I've just changed, so therefore everything I do and the way I do things has changed. But I don't know. I guess maybe too. I don't approach a script in the same way. Not in a careless fashion, but I think I just let it come to me a little bit more than trying to really make something that it's not. I just, I don't really like this word, but in a more of an organic way. That it just is. It is what it is. Instead of me being like, God, is that perfect? Is that it? Is that it? Because there is no right or wrong. It's art, right? So it's all subjective and it's my answer.
I like that. I would say just like not having the time to there's something lovely about having a true deadline, even just in the day because of children and whatnot. So it puts things into focus and removes the preciousness, and that is freeing.
I'll say the way that I got started in acting, I wasn't an actor, didn't want to be an actor, so it was all instinctual. I didn't know how to do any sort of work, like I didn't have a method. I wasn't method, I didn't subscribe to a teacher or a backstory or
kind of any of those things. And so that was just instinctual because I thought I was going to go back and be a math teacher. And so
There's still time.
Yeah, I know. I'm working on it. And so once I started to realize that it was a craft, it was a skill, it wasn't something where it's not just makeup and dressing up. It was something to be taken seriously if you wanted to be any good at it. I started then to figure out what kind of work there was to do behind it, and what other people did. And I took some of that in, you throw some of that out, but I think I take it more seriously now, and so more work is put in. And how that ends up, has it helped me? Has it hurt me? I don't know, but yeah, before it was just pure instinct, but now it's a little more thoughtful. It's not more thoughtful, it's just thought of in a different way.
But the hair journey has not changed.
The hair journey
Remains.
remains the same.
If there was a biopic about your life, who would you want to do the soundtrack? It can be anyone. It doesn't have to be someone affordable.
Brendan.
Wait, if there was a biopic of our life?
Yeah, so like if there's a Majandra Delfino biopic, who do you want to do the soundtrack? And it could be anyone.
What's the soundtrack?
The soundtrack, yes. Did
I was
I
like,
not say
I thought you
that?
said who's gonna play me.
I was going to
Oh.
say Brendan can play me.
Oh, yeah, that's when you said
I
bring it
did
up.
audition for Max.
Obviously, I did say my teenage years.
Yeah, like who would you like? It can be anyone, alive or dead. Who would you like to do the soundtrack for? Like the Beatles. Oh, same, girl. Yes, good answer. Yeah.
I would say the Gypsy Kings. That's right.
I think mine would probably be the Tragically Hip.
Well, you said the Beatles. I was going to say that.
Oh, sorry.
Well, it's kind of boring there. Yeah.
It's not. It's classic.
Yeah, I'd go with the Beatles for sure.
It's great. That's great. Do you guys have questions? Would you like? We can do audience questions. Yeah. Here.
You probably get asked this a lot. Am I loud enough?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm sorry if you hear this a lot. I don't know any of your answers, and you kind of touched on it. Like, what got you started into acting? Like that journey for each of you, or
I
gonna answer
started.
for me?
I did my first play when I was 5 years old. It was the very important part of Sunflower. Took it very seriously. Spent some time with sunflowers.
It was the left stem.
Did you go method?
Very much. I made sure my mom poured water on me.
Only
that was-
face the sun.
Played the Beatles' "Here Comes the Sun" a lot.
His process just like
Keeps growing like a sunflower. No, that was my first introduction to like being on stage, and my mother at a very young age, she was like, "Look, you will go and do some theater stuff. If you like it, cool. We'll come back. If you don't, no problem. Find something else." And I just there's something about being up there and kind of connecting with people, even at that small age, and not really doing a whole lot. I just felt like, oh, this is something I kind of like.
I don't know, it was kind of a progression. I did gymnastics, pretty full on, then ballet, very full on, and then from that, I ended up at the Australian Ballet School, which is like New York City Ballet School, full-time place. And after my first year there, I sort of had this moment of like, what am I going to do when I'm my age now? I don't want to. I didn't want to choreograph. I didn't want to teach. And retirement age is pretty early on in one's life for dancing. And so I said, all right, I love performing. I love the physicality of it. What can I do? Right, acting. Let's give that a shot. So I sort of gave myself a three-ish month window of our end of year break that I could still go back to dance, or if I got a job and liked it and did well. And that's what I did. And yeah, that one job was in Australia that I got, and then from that, because I did a terrible American accent on it, my dialect coach was Australian. So he would be like, all right, yeah, so let's work on this. I'm like, what? Anyway, so yeah, that was useless. Anyway, but still, I guess it was not that bad, and I got called to audition for Roswell because they thought I was in the States, and that's what I came out and did that with, I guess, a bunch of other. It was pilot season, so new shows casting, even though I didn't obviously see place. No, I didn't come in at the start, but did my whole rigmarole of auditions, but that's the one that ended up happening.
How much time was there between like when you stopped dancing to when you did Roswell? Like, how much time passed?
About a year. About a year, maybe a year, 12 to 18 months, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Probably more like 18 months, I think, yeah. Because that job in Oz was, I can't remember how many episodes of Based Master that I did. But that was like throughout a year of a handful of episodes, yeah. No, I was very lucky. And Roswell got me like, they got me sad, they got me like, one. Like, it doesn't happen easily.
Yeah, me and Emily know about the old one. We're like, visa, yes, we're in. Okay, here we go. Yeah, what a nightmare.
They did that for, it was only 6 or 7 episodes that I was originally on.
Right.
And they did that for that.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they knew what they were doing. Like, let's keep her forever. And also, Emily, you've never stopped dancing. In life, you know. Mine was a failed. I was in a. It's all a figure. I was in a 4-part harmony group, and everyone was very.
Just imagine a barbershop quartet.
Yeah, just like.
She's the bass. She's like,
It was, yeah. And everyone was so much better, and all of their parents would recommend that I try acting. So I did, and then thank God that worked out. That's how I got there.
Yeah, mine, I had no intention of ever doing it. I thought it was silly and dumb, and I was going to be a math teacher. I took journalism in high school because drama was for geeks.
But math wasn't?
Not in
I made
Canada.
math cool.
Oh, okay.
So, and then I got, I did, I don't like to call it modeling, but like modeling on the side for $50 an hour in Winnipeg, like for Kmart, like flyers, like wearing the jogging pants, you know what I mean?
Gray pants season?
Yeah, I mean, and it was just because I was making $50 an hour doing that, which was like ludicrous, and it would pay for my university tuition essentially. And that kind of slowly got me into the situation where some guy just asked if I wanted to be an actor, and I turned him down multiple times, and then ended up getting a job, still thinking the whole thing was dumb. And even during Roswell, as much as I liked it, I didn't.
Still thought it was dumb.
I still didn't, like, because there's, like, I grew up blue collar, like, I grew up where, like, you got a real job, right? You did stuff. The arts, which I think, you know, Ethan Hawke talks about it all the time. He's insane. He talks about how the arts isn't like a luxury. It's like, it sustains us, whether we know it or not. And that didn't cross my mind ever. And because you had to work, you had to prove your worth, you had to, you know, creating a play, no, you put on a play and you play, but it is a creation, and so it took me a long time to realize what acting was and what the arts were and everything else, and so that was my journey of thinking what I do for a living was foolish. And it's kind of fun to see my progression, and then to be able to talk to other people about it, even though I'm maybe not totally qualified, but how important the arts are. And it's, I don't know if it's misattributed to them, but Prime Minister of
Canada?
no, Prime Minister of Britain, cigar smoking bloke.
Winston Churchill?
Churchill, right? The whole thing was, you know, if we're not fighting for the arts, what are we fighting for? Like during the war, it's some sort of quote like that, because you're not fighting to go toil 9 to 5. You're not fighting to go do any of that. You're fighting for the beautiful things in life, and that's painting, dance, arts, television, you know, whatever, museums, whatever it may be. And so, yeah, that kind of changed. That's been my kind of progress of where I started to where I am now.
Great. Is there any other? Yeah.
Yeah. Best fan experiences.
That's hard to narrow down.
I think, I mean, it started early. You know, if you have a fan base that sends in, we're in a different era now, but physical Tabasco, you realize you've done something, you've affected a group of people or individuals. And I think,
When that had never been done before.
yeah, and I think that'll always be, you know, and then we had fan gatherings then. We had this, you know, you have Twitter and you have Instagram, but like the Crashdown Cafe, the galleries, that, you know, we would go on where the internet didn't really exist at that point. It did, but you were dialing up to go on it. You had to turn your phone off. And then you get on the Crashdown Cafe and they got all the threads of the episodes and everything like that. I don't think I realized it was special then, but I didn't realize, you know, how things would change and how special it was. And so I think that sticks with me. It feels like the early, we were on the edge of changing, which we didn't know, going from film, you know, we shot on film. You know, we didn't have digital cameras, and that soon ended after that. And so looking back, it really was the end of an era of WB, you know, which we didn't know was going to be a big thing back then and kind of have its place in history. So looking back, it really was like, you know, obviously it's not going to go down to the history books and, you know, encyclopedias. We all know what those are. But but it was a watershed moment of sorts, looking back, where a lot of things really morphed into something different.
It did feel like at that point in time, it felt like the internet and people who were fans of the show really did organize very quickly. And like to talking about what Brenda was saying, like the Crashdown Cafe was something that people talked about and they had conversations and they met each other. And I've talked to a lot of fans who said, you know, I met so-and-so on Crashdown Cafe 25 years ago and we're still lifelong friends to this day. And that means the world to me. Like I've had wonderful interactions with fans who've come down to the set to West Covina from all over, you know, as far as like, you know, Canada, coming to see us on set, and have had wonderful interactions with them. But to know how this has affected people, not just in a creative space or even an emotional space, but in an interrelationship space, like how these friends have formed and then continue as a result of the show is extraordinary. And also the fact that with the internet, with the Crashdown, like it was the beginning of something where you would have people give feedback, and that feedback would bring changes to what we were doing. Like we would have on our board, Cadence would have on his board, like this is the overall arc of what we're doing. But now we're getting all this feedback from fans and people who want to see this and see that. We're going to go and do that. And that really hadn't been done before with TV because the response was so strong.
What he said.
But it's like a whole new generation now, which is
Hello?
really nice. That were people who grew up watching it and then sharing it with their kids, which is pretty special. I don't know. But it is like exactly what you're saying, that it really was one of the few, and even subsequent jobs right after that, I don't think had as much of a chat room kind of thing. I mean, it's a cult classic show, you know, it's short-lived. It's not like it was on for 10 years, but the impact it had on people and the connections they made, and that's what I too really love hearing from you guys about. It's really cool, and that's why it's great and it's so special to be able to do these sort of events, that we get to break that wall and hear your stories, and you know, you're not just hearing us talk all the time. Sorry.
Well, for one, did you guys like the end of the series? Like, were you all happy with it and all your characters? I was wondering,
Well, who has a show, this show or another show that you're like, my favorite episode is the finale? You know,
like the way that what your characters did with themselves. I mean, you kind of got to see what. I mean, Tess, I'm so sorry.
it's a bad question for me.
She was very heroic. She did sacrifice herself for the greater good of things. I will say that.
Yeah, it is sweet. And like, no one's sweeter than Emily. The fact that she got that
That's got to
treatment.
be a hero and a villain at the same time, and you played it well because as much as we probably all hated you, we also loved you too. And there's a lot of moments where, especially when you sacrifice yourself, I mean, I'm sure everyone agrees we all cried whenever that happened.
Yeah.
But I mean, as your characters, are you happy with, at least till for now?
I would just say no because it felt premature. That's all. I don't like premature things.
Next
What
question.
are you
Brendan?
confusing?
I've been out, yeah. No.
Do you also not like premature things?
Definitely
Yeah.
not. Does not a fan.
No, my nickname is Ed. ED.
No. What? Like it doesn't happen at all.
I don't even get that.
That's how unpremature.
I'll give you premature.
Said we were gonna be better today.
Oh, I know. I will say, like, not the finale per se, but I'll say Michael's arc of wanting to stay. I didn't know that was going to happen, and wanting to stay for Maria really flipped it kind of on its head from where he started. And so I'll say Michael's whole arc through the whole thing, I did, looking back, it was, not giving myself any credit, like it was really well done. Whether, you know, we pivoted throughout the season, going from relationships to sci-fi, all those things, showrunners and everything else. I'll say that ultimate arc of when he's the one that pulls, you know, we're in the panel, and he's the one to kind of open that door and go, I'm staying. I thought that I did like.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say for 3 years. You were like, wait, he really loves her? Like, it was I did like that. That was very, because like he found home, you know.
He stayed for an intergalactic green card.
He was,
Yeah.
yeah.
My 01. Yeah, the Milky Way.
He's like, I need to wait until Biker Boy starts filming. You had it though, right? No, meaning, you know, I don't know what the next job was, but you did not identify. I thought you were saying that you were shocked that he would stay for Maria, but no, that made sense. But wasn't she kind of, I'm so sorry guys, I don't remember, but she didn't have like a great, like she was like, okay, like what did she do? Where did she go?
I think you gave me a big hug on Vasquez Rocks.
That's it? She's like, hugs.
It was a WB show. What did you
Right.
expect they were gonna do?
You know, you like, you know, episode 1, season 2, you were like, dry humping. You know, I just thought, a hug? Like a pat? I forget.
I mean, listen.
I don't know.
I mean, everyone else was. I mean, you know.
I know. Yeah, she
I don't
was
know.
giving you the cold shoulder.
But maybe.
Next question.
Yeah.
It's like 2 years later. This was a mistake.
Hi.
If you could pick from any season, one scene where it's your all-time favorite, even if it's a scene that you personally wasn't in, what scene would you pick?
Oh, interesting. I didn't watch the scenes I wasn't in. No. That's a good one.
Interesting. Yeah.
So to pick a favorite scene? That's really hard. That's really hard. I mean, it's that is a very difficult question. It's a great question, but like, you know, I went back. We talked about this a little bit before. Like what Majandra had at the very end of Monsters with Bill, I thought was extraordinary. And we didn't. We honestly were just getting to know each other, and for Majandra to do that was a little bit surprising because we had no idea, and it was such an impactful moment. That was, and it was just of other things to come. What Brendan did with Independence Day again was like those things are like, wow, what a real, you know, powerful circumstance to be in that a lot of people have been in. Not that, you know, but like he, you know, people who have been in those kinds of really unhealthy, dangerous situations to get out of that. I thought that was extraordinary. I've had a lot of scenes with Emilie. When she did choose to leave and be heroic, I thought that was something that was surprising. I didn't know what was going to happen in that case. But there's just so many scenes that we've done. The scene that we all did when in Cry Your Name, when Alex, when I came on the van, was not going to work this time, was something that I think affected a lot of people, because we're all talking about not just the death of a character that we all had grown to love, but also knowing we weren't going to see Colin, like that again. And it was a double whammy of like your character's going away, but then so are you, and that was a really hard thing for me personally.
Yeah.
But that also was a wonderful scene as well. So it's hard for me to really pick one, but I'd say as far as like people standing up here, like that work done on those shows was extraordinary.
Yeah.
I mean, you have your favorite scenes in the show, and we always were laughing, but I mean, the one I'll always remember was with Jay, when I just absolutely slapped him continuously over.
I believe that was Busted from season 3, the first episode.
We didn't really
we told the story
stunt
before,
coordinator.
but it was when Liz and Max are out on the lake, and he starts talking about having children, and for whatever reason, he took his shirt off, and then and then he was like, "We'll tell our grandkids about this." And he jumped in the lake, which was Castaic Lake, and he's like, "Come on in!" And then he started having this reaction, and he like sort of passes out in the water. Cut to all of us at Michael's apartment, and I'm kind of still out of it, and Brendan was supposed to slap me in the face to revive me. And he's like, "Jay, I really kind of want to smack you." And I'm like, yeah, no, you can go ahead and do it. No, it's okay. And so and you can see it in the bloopers, it's online, where he starts off hitting me kind of delicately. He's like, "Max, snap out of it. Max, snap out of it. Max." And he hit me so hard, everyone broke. And it's in the bloopers where he like turns the camera and says, "Oh, I smoked his ass."
Yeah. I literally say I turned and I just broke the scene because it's like I just smoked his ass.
I mean, it was something else.
It was so hard. It was unnecessary. But
Brendan learned to be method.
that's
That was a fun scene.
I think the one that comes to me like immediately when someone says this, and then I'm like, was this a scene? Is Jason you singing?
the drunk up to the balcony.
It was.
Yes, no mas, no te
Yeah, I realize I'm like such just a cliche like Latino right now, being like, that's my favorite when you sung in Spanish. Exactly. But I've been we rewatched a little bit, and weirdly, a scene that resonated with me so deeply is Emilie, when you are in the house with Bill and Nick, and you were like pissed at them because you were about to have, what holiday was it? Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. And I was like, she sees into me. Like this is, it's the most relatable. I didn't understand it at the time, and I just loved it, and somehow missed it the first time around because it was up in my own. But I mean, beautifully done. The way also that they're so perplexed by it, with like they don't understand like this new expectation. Loved it, and give me some time. I'll think of.
Oh, you're
No,
fine.
That's one of my favourite scenes. Or the dupe stuff that we did together. That was just because it was fun. And we got to win.
They had a guy who came in to give us pointers on New York accents. And he's in the scene, he's walking down the street, he's the guy who's and you were like, "Yo, give me the rock," and you gave him, and he gave you the basketball, and you walked away from it.
Yeah.
That was our dialect coach for that particular.
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
Because me and Hunter were just talking about this, and I was like, I just remember him going, well, "What have I gotten myself into?" Or there's Australian, this Canadian, this woman from Connecticut, and then this Minnesotan is just
Oh my gosh, what a combo! Yeah.
right, and then going "Oh yeah, we're gonna make him tough New York cunt." So it was just this guy couldn't have been paid. I mean, the whole thing was wild. I was like, I barely speak American, bro. You're in trouble. That was awesome.
He did.
He was like, "Yeah, no, it sounds great. Sure, then do it. Yeah."
If you guys could play any other character on Roswell, who would you choose?
I actually auditioned for Isabel. So any other interesting?
I think Isabel is a good answer. Maybe Kyle, the clueless hot guy, you know.
I would maybe play Max in the Christmas episode.
Interesting.
Specific.
Well, they said an episode, right? For an episode? I think, yeah, maybe.
If that's what you heard.
If that's what you heard.
Brendan's a rule follower, you have to understand. He loves rules.
Love rules.
Is it the one where he saves the children?
Yeah, and Michael couldn't.
Yeah.
It was such a, the whole thing was, obviously we were kind of diametrically opposed, like our relationship, Max and Liz's was fairly solid, Michael and Maria's was off the rails, and so it was always kind of, Michael being second in command, Max being king. There was always a little bit of that competition, looking in the mirror of, is that who I should be? Is that who I am? But I've never reached it. My family is, I'm an orphan, that even though you guys have been adopted, had a stable family. And so I think that episode, and there might be other ones that are better suited, but off the top of my head, that one episode would be the one that really summed it up, where as an actor and as a character it would be that was the most diametrically opposed, where literally saving lives, and I've killed the first person or whatever else at some point. So just as a kind of acting exercise and getting into there, that'd be fun.
Yeah, that was a pretty powerful that
Yeah.
episode. It was again extraordinary circumstance, and if you actually put it in real life, what do you do?
Yeah, exactly.
Emily, did you answer the question?
I did not answer.
Okay. Sorry.
No, really. I always wished I got to wear the flowers.
Oh yeah.
She wants to be a
Yeah,
waitress.
they're so cute.
Cash down.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe Topolsky.
I was
That's
thinking,
good.
just thinking Topolsky's a plant.
Something a little crazy, a little fun.
Yeah.
Hairy. No, he's not hairy.
She's not Harry.
She's not hairy.
She's got a great head of
Topolsky is a
hair,
plant.
but she's not Harry. Yeah, no, she was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
Yeah.
Very much.
It's fun.
Julie Benz. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw her recently.
No?
I said
Isabel.
Kyle.
She did.
No,
She
I
said
said
Isabel.
Oh, Kyle. You said
Yeah.
Isabella is a good one. and then
Yeah,
Kyle.
Isabel's a good one, but I do think I think it's that I didn't want to play Kyle. It's I just want to be as Nick just has such a special read on things. Yeah, no, but that's a fun, just leather jacket wearing whatever.
Right.
What guy is so fun.
Any other questions? We've got time for 2 more. No? You guys are so subdued. Are you having fun? Okay, I'm just making sure, because you can tell me if you're not. We can end this now. Yes.
You guys just created a show. Very proud of you guys, amazing. And Emily and Jason, you're so talented. Do you ever think about stepping behind the lens, doing something directing, writing?
Directing, possibly, yeah. Maybe, I don't know. I think that when I've worked with ex-actors or current actors as a director, I think it's generally pretty nice because you've got someone who really cares about time and what you need around something, and I don't know, it's a nice insight most of the time, so it could be something I'm into.
Thank you for saying that first, Andrew. I would say, ever since we had our son Atticus, spend a lot of time with your kid, when you try to do the best you can to be a parent. But it offered me also time to start to write in the middle of the night when he was sleeping, so I have written a few scripts that I would like to direct someday. So directing is absolutely down the pipeline for me.
All starring me as well.
In my cast.
Lainey, you're in there. You're part of the cast.
Oh, great. I'm so excited. It'll be my first role. I can't wait. Is there ever a storyline in anything, not just Roswell, but that you've been in, that you were like, oh man, that somebody else had, that you're like, oh man, I really wish my character got to do that?
I've seen films and there's been other films and other TV shows where, you would just be like, oh, that was just the greatest film. You almost don't want to ruin it by being in it, right? Because then you don't get to
Experience it.
You don't get to experience it. That's kind of the fun thing. When we're looking at when I'm looking at a film or a TV show I did, there's no way I could look at it the same way any of you could. And then, my wife and my kids aren't going to look at it quite the same because they know me on a day-to-day. Even your friends don't quite look at it the same. It's really, as much as we want to get, we love having like conversations and you getting to know us and who we are and these interactions and all that stuff. There is something, because you want to know that we're nice people generally and everything else, and that the character that you like is played by an actor that isn't some douchebag or anything like that. Don't meet your heroes because they might kind of ruin it. But as nice as that is to have,
So don't come to the table.
it also is. But the importance, like where you guys get to really enjoy us, is if you almost know as little about us as you can, because then you get to lose yourself in a performance we do. And so that's kind of always the trick. Now you have access to actors more than you ever have via social media, these conventions, everything else. And so it's riding that fine line of not being a total recluse, because you want to meet the people that enjoy your work and that like you, but at the same time, there is that veil of you don't really know me, so that I can hopefully disappear into a role and you're not just seeing that person that you know so well.
But wait, Lainey, was the question?
That wasn't the question.
Was the question in something you've been in or just something you've seen?
You know what? At this point, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
However you want to answer the question, however the muse strikes
My
you.
answer is war horse. I just want to be that horse.
You want to be the horse?
No, I have no answer. Yeah.
It's a great question.
Yeah, it's a great question.
Something that just popped in my mind was, and I've never been able to do this really, would be what Jen Garner did in Alias. I would love to play a role like that.
Such a good call.
Because not only is it a fun world, there is an element of danger, and then you get to play all these different characters. One of my favorite things about Roswell was that I was able to do that Max the Max episode, and even with End of the World, like playing a different version of the same character, but like with Max, like playing a different character and being able to, like what Jen did in that was extraordinary. Like all these different accents and all these
like an Orphan Black with a touch of
like that
Right.
kind of stuff would be just that would be amazing. That would be a wonderful job to have.
1947, that was under moment.
Right.
1940, right? Yeah, that was a fun one. Yeah. So,
I was Dick, Richard Dickey, right?
Dickey.
Yeah, you were. Yeah.
My name, because he goes, thanks a lot, Dick.
You're welcome. You were Dixie.
You were Dixie.
Dixie.
Yeah.
You were Dixie.
Mm-hmm. Don't know my name.
I have Polaroids from that.
Yeah, that was so fun. I mean,
I have a whole book of Polaroids from like fittings, and that's how they used to. It wasn't digital cameras.
My fitting?
They would- What?
My fittings?
Of your fittings, I have Polaroids of your fittings. But they're weird because they're shot from like under a stall. Exactly. And it's like the fact that he couldn't notice when it's like, and then like something coming up.
Polaroids were big things. They were very large in size, very heavy flash.
No, but I have, but that was when, you didn't have those cell phones, and I have books of Polaroids. of fittings for movies and Roswell and TV shows, and I mean nothing is nostalgic to me like a Polaroid.
Do you still have like stuff from the shows?
Yeah, I have some wardrobe. I have my ring, the ring I wore. I have the chain and the pocket watch. For Behr and Toluca, me and Majandra were, scraping, scrapping, and all that stuff. And thank you for all who contributed there. But we wanted to make that work, and so I auctioned off my boots, Michael Garrett's boots, for that. So I have like the backups that still have like Michael written in them, like on the tongues, because you know how they label all your wardrobe. So I still have like all my Doc Martens from them, but I did auction off like the original ones, which were hard to get rid of because like they hold, a certain.
They smell?
They didn't smell actually.
Okay.
Odor.
Yeah. I mean, I say they didn't smell, but that doesn't mean they didn't smell.
Right. Cool.
But yeah, I have a few things. I have some scripts. I have the bowling shoes that they gave us.
I have those.
Yeah.
Do you have those?
Cool, yeah.
Yeah. And I still have the backpack, and I still the backpack. Yeah, it's got Roswell written on it. It's the black one with the Velcro, and I still bring that. Like that's still like my travel kind of.
Your character's backpack or one that
No, it was a wrap gift, but it was yeah, and it's still like my favorite thing, and it's yeah.
This young lady has a question over here.
That was a good segue. I was going to ask if President Majandra, if you could give us a little update on PNT, Baron and Toluca, if possible. Wasn't able to join yesterday.
Oh, sorry. Well,
We can send you the link
we'll send you a link so you can see it.
so you can see it.
And hear it.
It was about this bright in here, and it was on a projector, so it wasn't.
And there was dance music playing, and honestly, I was like, maybe I should make some changes. We have a production company that we're working with. It's still very much, in flux. We're ready to pivot, if they need us to shoot it in France and be French, I'm like, really? Whatever it takes, we are down, but we're trying to just have it be what we envisioned. There's a lot of things that happen in this industry where they try to change things, and we're trying to be as pure in the original intent as possible.
But it is moving forward.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah,
but-
it's not even close to dead. It's moving forward.
Okay.
So that's it's all good news. You don't lose hope.
Well, this is great. We can do one more question super quickly.
I was just curious, are either of you gonna be included in the DNT and all?
I offered to do craft service, but I never got a phone call back.
I told him he had to wear a hairnet on his face.
I said that if
Draw a line at hairnets, facial hairnets.
if they don't, if they're not playing a character that is a nod to Roswell in some way, I'm just not going to talk to them anymore.
Yeah,
Dead.
absolutely.
Friendship
Yes,
dead.
and yes, that would be.
So yeah, the answer is
Yeah.
yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, we're getting the wrap it up signal, so we're gonna wrap it up. I just want to tell you guys, this is so funny. Nick just texted me because originally we were gonna try and have him zoom in, but we don't have the capability, and I forgot to tell him. So he texted me and was like, "I'm ready whenever."
Nick sitting by a Zoom. Oh, the sweetest.
Having sent a picture, Lane.
Just,
I feel really bad. He's like, I know what character I want to play. He like knows his answers.
just listen to the whole thing for that, like somehow, and yeah. All right, yeah, FaceTime Nick.
I want to play him who.
No, just FaceTime him. He'll be fine.
You did FaceTime on that.
He doesn't say he's got him blocked.
I was like, wait, I don't have Nick's got me blocked.
Just as telemarketing.
That's such funny timing though. Like
I
you could
know.
have texted me at any point.
Oh.
Oh, jeez. Okay, hold on.
It's like watching Kraftwerk in a concert, just a bunch of guys with computers.
I'm gonna get to it for you.
You might. No, here I got it.
Oh.
I just text him to explain why you
Why doesn't that work?
Well, because there's no Wi-Fi here.
I've got 5. I got like 5 bars.
Wi-Fi off.
No, I know, but to FaceTime, he's got you blocked.
Oh, here we go.
Speaker. What a
He's
thing.
literally not going to answer my phone call.
He's like, I'm waiting for a Zoom.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, he's
Hey.
unavailable. I told you. He'll text me before he answers.
Tell him when you say Brendan's trying to
No,
FaceTime.
we're up on stage right now, Nick, but so we won't have to do an actual FaceTime towards the audience, but they might have a couple questions for you. Does anybody have any questions for Nick?
We don't have time. They're gonna kick us off the stage,
I
but
can't see
Show
him.
the audience all that way. Nick.
I'll do this real quick. Hold on a second. All right, that's everybody saying hello to you, Nick. He says, hey, everybody. All right, they just want to send a love, buddy.
Wait, will you just real quick
Yeah.
tell him someone really wants to say hi to you?
Who's that?
Show him.
Hold on a second. Someone else wants to say hi to you real quick. Yeah, hold on. Hold on.
I need hope.
let's give the cast of Roswell one more